And welcome to your daily show of Raw Real Politics. I'm your host, Ty Jensen, and today we need to look over some things, America. We need to make sure what's going on with the 2024 election for President Donald Trump and Joe Biden. We're going to look into Project 2025 a little bit. But the biggest thing is, let's hop into these news stories right now. And one of these news stories is even the Democrats do not trust. They absolutely do not trust that Joe Biden can defeat Donald Trump in the general election in November. Of course they don't, because they're already starting to flip on him, as you see here. Anyway, representative from New York, Pat Ryan, a moderate Democrat, by the way. He's more of like a JFK Democrat. But moderate Democrats do not think that he can lead. And when I say he, I mean Joe Biden. They do not think that President Joe Biden can't do anything, and they're asking him to step aside. Obviously, the vulnerable congressional incumbent has asked him to step aside, and basically it's because Joe Biden is not mentally there. He's barely physically there. Now, you can see him fall downstairs, and even however the hell you fall upstairs, but he does it on occasion. Okay, that's one thing. But they're calling is what Mr. Ryan would call an existential threat to democracy if Trump is the nominee, and Trump is going to be the nominee. But is Trump going to win? And with the Trump victory, they're calling it an existential threat to democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, let me point this out very, 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 very clearly here really quick. Okay? Democracy is one of those things where democracy to the Democrats is up here. Okay, a constitutional republic for Republicans is up here, for a republic. So Republicans view democracy as down here, where Democrats view it as up here. Now this middle area is where the real meat and potatoes begins, because let's put it very simply, let's put it this way. In a democracy, there are oligarchs and authoritarians, where the Democrats, they want to be up here, okay? No shame in that, and that's what they believe, that's fine. But who gets hurt by this consistent, unlike a constitutional republic? It is we the people. We, the people, sit here and we are the ones who get hurt. Record high inflation, healthcare costs skyrocketing, insurance costs skyrocketing, everything skyrockets, but the day-to-day average paycheck for the American person. So what is this whole threat to democracy? It is simple. They do not want Donald Trump to retake the White House because they are afraid that if Donald Trump gets into office, he's going to unravel and undo everything that Joe Biden has done, especially on his first day with all the executive orders. Hello, they were disastrous. Look at the gas lines. Look at everything that's went on with our natural resource and our energy production for our energy independence that has dissipated into nothing. Now we are starting to be more reliant on foreign adversaries and foreign fuels and foreign economies compared to our own self-sustaining culture. But I digress. Matt Ryan, who's just a moderate Democrat, says that there's no way, shape, in hell that Joe Biden can really, win this. He is feeble. He is old. He is falling apart. And as you see here, I mean, the writing is on the wall. The Democrats do not want, listen, their nightmare scenario is having Trump in office. Their golden era is right now having one shot all over the American political game. That's exactly how it comes down to. But now if we sit here and we look at who Mr. Ryan, he's only 42 years old. He's the same age as myself. If he really thinks that Joe Biden has done a great job, he needs to step aside because he is delulu. If he thinks that President Trump is going to be a threat to democracy, he has every right to think that. And yes, we are a threat to democracy. I'm not saying that I'm just a full-blown Trump supporter. I mean, I am. But what I'm saying is, I want the economy back. I want the economy to come back in full force. I want it to sit here and come back and just roar. Roar. We have to have that resurgence just like after World War II. Our economy got a lot better until the 70s. The 70s under Nixon, unfortunately, went down the shitter. And then Reagan came in the 80s, and the 80s went up. And then all of a sudden, you can sit here and say there's been good and bad of all politicians, but culture is always upstream where politics is downstream. Now, according to the left, right now, the left is dominating culture. The culture war is in their camp. The culture war is what they want in their narratives and their prerogatives, and to overthrow us who believe in the American Constitution. They hate us. We are a threat to them because we are a threat to democracy, because we do not care about democracy. We are not a democracy nation. We are a constitutional republic nation, and that's what the Democrats, that's what the left, especially the far left, is what they hate, and they hate alone. But I digress. We gotta move on. Alright? So, let's move on to this next segment. And this is where this is going to take a little bit more of a time, is because Trump knows that the VP candidates are going to be Burgum from North Dakota, J.D. Vance from Ohio, and Marco Rubio from the great state of Florida. We know that. But what we don't understand is what Trump's real questions are going to be. But we know the one question is, what's the loyalty going to be? Now, we saw with the last presidential term of President Trump, the state, the deep state, and the administration, and everybody that was involved with him run gunshot on him and said, we're not going to listen to you because you're new, you don't matter. When in doubt, obviously he did. His policies worked, especially his energy independence, his right to life policies, and his America First agenda. It worked. It worked for the American people, not just the poor class, but also here in the middle class and the higher classes as well, so they can create jobs and produce more products and have that American First independence that we have died to have for a long time. We never had it under the Clintons. We definitely had to make it go away under Bush because he wanted just nothing more than 20 years of war. Obama didn't help at all. But then here comes a businessman from New York, gets the presidency, makes America great. And then all of a sudden, we got a little too relaxed, and Trump can't do this, and Trump can't do that. And then all of a sudden, our great economy just unraveled and fell to shit. So, he just wants one thing, loyalty. But he's going to ask it one more question, is, are you going to sit here and screw me over and be part of the deep state? Now, Trump wants to get rid of the deep state, and for good reason. He deserves to get rid of the deep state. Anyway, I want to know what you guys' thoughts are in the comments below. Can we return to a great nation, or is this nation going to be doomed? Is it going to fail under another Trump administration, or is it going to get a lot better? But anyway, we're going to move on to Project 2025. Now, this is the one thing that the Democrats hate because of the Heritage Foundation. And the Heritage Foundation has come out and said, yes, we are involved somewhat with the Trump campaign and what the Trump agenda for 2025 wants to happen. Absolutely. But not all of it. But the Democrats are so scared of a second Trump term. And then they're not even going to hide it. Right here, they're going to try everything. And it says, despite their attempts to keep distance from Project 2025, are they really? No. They have set concrete plans to enact with a July surprise, with the August surprise, with the October surprise, with mail-in ballots in November, with election day interference. They're going to try their hardest to maintain power. Now, when we come to Jim Clyburn of South Carolina, it's again very simply stated. One of Mr. Biden's closest allies on Capitol Hill told reporters on Monday that the agenda for the next Republican presidents was the sole topic would be talked about. Now, of course it is. They are petrified. They are scared. But what are the Republicans sitting here saying? two GOP senators. We already know it's going to be Rubio and it's going to be J.D. Vance, who they're talking about. They're not talking about Burgum, but they are saying is in the works of the think tank, the center-right think tank. Okay, according to Marco Rubio, and it's right here if you want to read it. It's very easily said, and he said this on State of the Union. But what is really going on here is this cannot take place any faster. They really want this Project 2025 on the GOP side, and the Democrats are going to run scared like little beta male sissy lalas. That's exactly what's going to happen. And we, the people, need to make that happen. Alright? Now, Project 2025 aside, we need to sit here and look at maybe other things. And what is going on in the state of Utah is one of those things. How Utah's 2nd Congressional District is going into basically a full recount between Celeste Malloy and challenger Colby Jenkins. Now, this is a good thing. This is to keep voting transparent. It's supposed to have election transparency. However, the governor of Utah, and I'm sorry I switched between topics here once in a while, but we're running out of time. However, this is very vital because the establishment in Utah does not like Trump. Okay? Their current governor, Governor Cox, who just got basically reelected, even though there's some legal challenges from his challenger this year of Phil Lyman, everything is going to be challenged. But when it comes to Utah's 2nd Congressional District, it was only down to 214 votes for a threshold so that Colby Jenkins himself can request a recount of the ballots. And now, this is where it becomes a little bit of a problem for the state of Utah. Some of Utah's southern congressional districts they have to ship their ballots anytime there is a recount or anytime there is a mail-in ballot process. Those ballots have to travel out of state to our neighboring state of Nevada, where they used to go to Provo, Utah, which is in the heart of Utah, part of the Salt Lake City metro area. Now they're being shipped down to Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay, does anybody else see the problem here? You're shipping Utah ballots out of state because the USPS, or the United States Postal Service, is a bunch of incompetent idiots in the state of Utah who delegated the responsibility to Nevada, which should never have happened to begin with. Now, this will come up especially in the Utah State Legislature in 2025 during their normal session. Some states call it an assembly, we call it a legislative session, but it is going to come to fruition that this topic is going to be very discussed, it's going to be very transparent, and it's going to be very media driven, and we'll have it right here on Raw Real Politics. Here's the thing, multi-county primary races are subject to ballot recounts if within the nature of a recount that hits a certain number that can be filed for a request. Now, Lieutenant Governor's office, who is Deidre Hendrickson, I'm not a huge fan of hers. I think she runs elections like she runs her bank account. All about her and her alone. She does not care about the voters of Utah, not whatsoever. She is going to oversee this. Now, if I was Colby Jenkins, who's asking for a recount because he's a challenger, he has every right to do this within election law, which is going to be certified, I believe, on July 22nd. He has 7 days or a week after that. So by the 31st of this month of July of 2024, we should know who the winner is. But now they're going to have a statewide canvass, and they're going to have a recount. But what I would say, if I was Colby Jenkins, make sure you get and ask for an independent verification, because you do not want to have anybody screw with the data. Now, the county clerks, they report to Deidre Hendrickson, which oversees the election process. Utah does not have a separate Secretary of Elections, at least not yet. There are people like myself who are going to push that initiative later this year, but in my state of Utah, elections is ran by the lieutenant governor. Instead of being by the governor's right-hand side all the time, she is overseeing the election processes for the entire state, which should be a completely separate office. But anyway, I want to know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Feel free to remember to like, subscribe, and definitely give us a follow on all of our social media platforms, especially right here on Rumble, right here on YouTube. And until tomorrow, I'm Todd Jensen. This has been Raw Real Politics. I wish you a good day, and we will catch you next time.